Hi guys, today we're going to look at byvoeglike naamwoorde, right? Byvoeglike naamwoorde is adjectives. Adjectives, what does adjectives do? Adjectives describes the noun. What is a noun in Afrikaans? Dit is 'n selfstandige naamwoord. So, 'n byvoeglike naamwoord describes a selfstandige naamwoord, and the naamwoord can appear before or after the selfstandige naamwoord. Now, I got a bunch of rules for you guys to explain this concept, so it will be very easy, right? We have three types of byvoeglike naamwoorde. It can appear in trappe van vergelyking, intensiewe vorm, and verbuiging van woorde. Now, we are going to focus on verbuiging van woorde because that's, I think, most important. But just trappe van vergelyking, you were describing something as groot, groter as, die grootste. So, for example, this is a big mountain, this is a bigger mountain, and that's the biggest mountain, right? Intensiewe vorm, you have swart, for example, but then you also have pik swart. When you want to describe something that's very, very dark, you say that this pik swart, right? Pik swart. Verbuiging van woorde. So, example, we say, die meisie is lank, alright? But if you want to describe this girl, using the verbuiging van 'n woord, we will say die lang meisie. We won't say die lank meisie. We don't say that in Afrikaans. Okay, so let's look at this, right? So, we are going to have attributive naamwoorde and we're going to have predicative voeglike naamwoorde. Now, attributive voeglike naamwoorde, it is in front of the selfstandige naamwoord. So, for example, remember, selfstandige naamwoord is our noun. This can be whatever noun is. And this byvoeglike naamwoord, I'm gonna call it the ABN. Alright? The ABN stands in front of the naamwoord. What is our selfstandige naamwoord? It's meisie, right? So then, lang is the word that is describing this girl. This girl is tall, right? So that is going to be our attributive byvoeglike naamwoord because it stands in front of the selfstandige naamwoord. The predicative byvoeglike naamwoord is the one that stands after. Alright, so die seun is lank. Alright, so it's still a byvoeglike naamwoord, but you see there's a verbuiging van the naamwoord. So if your naamwoord is before, it would look like lang meisie. But if it's after the selfstandige naamwoord, we won't say die seun is lang, we'll say die seun is lank. Alright, so that is the difference. This is our attributive and this is our predicative. Alright, let's look at a few rules just to see how it changes how a word changes when it's in front of a selfstandige naamwoord or after the selfstandige naamwoord. Right, we'll start with after, then we'll look at before. Okay, rule 1A. When it has a short noun, BVN is just byvoeglike naamwoord, guys. That's what it stands for. So when we have a short sound that ends on a G, so it ends on a G and has one syllable. So syllable, when it just has lig, for example. So lig is our word here. It ends on a G and it has one syllable. When we want to use it before the selfstandige naamwoord, we are going to add a t at the end of the word. So we'll say t. So for example, die veer is lig, maar dit is 'n ligte veer. Alright, rule 1A. Rule 1B. When we have long oo and e sounds and oo sounds that ends on a G and one syllable, you have one vowel only and the G will fall away and you put an E with a double punt at the end. Any other long sounds, so long sounds that are not oo, e, oo, like at the top, you would just put an E at the end. So you'd still have one vowel, the G will fall away, but you're just going to put the E, not the double punt E. Alright, so there was a mistake. That double punt is supposed to be on top of there. So I'm just going to show you. That's how that looks. And this is just the regular E. So for example, droog. You see there's a long O. There's a long oo sound. So when I want to write that as attributive. So the before one usually changes, guys. So when I want to write that as an attributive, now what does it say? I get one vowel only, so this vowel falls away, my G falls away, and I have to put an E double pin. So sorry guys, the double pin just shifted because of the PowerPoint, but that's where the E should be. So it will look like that. Alright. Die woestyn is droog. So a droë woestyn. Alright. So when you want to put your byvoeglike naamwoord in front of your selfstandige naamwoord, you got it, things change, and that's where these rules are coming in. Alright, and I already discussed that. Rule 2. When the byvoeglike naamwoord ends on an F and it only has one syllable, we will replace the F with a W or a double W. Then we add an E at the end. And this applies to short and long sounds. So for example, short sounds, they will get a double W, and long sounds are going to get a W, right? And remember, we are trying to change the attributive. That's where the change comes. The attributive, remember, is before the byvoeglike naamwoord. We want to put the describing word or the adjective or the adverb before the selfstandige, not the adverb, sorry guys, the adjective before the selfstandige naamwoord. There's going to be a change, right? So if our predicative word is laugh, right? Laugh is like when you're silly, and laugh is a short sound and it ends on F. All right. So when we want to change it to the attributive, we have to double the W, but also remember we first replace the F. In Afrikaans, you'll see we don't use the F word, right? So we don't use the F word, we change it to a W. So we will double the W if it's a short sound. So as you can see here, we replaced the F, we took away the F, and we added a double W, right? Rule 3. When the byvoeglike naamwoord ends on an NK, and has one syllable, we replace the K with a G, right? So if it's lank, it becomes lang. And as you'll see, that is similar to our example. All right, so that's where that rule comes from. Then rule 4. When our byvoeglike naamwoord only has one syllable, mostly it stays the same. So when it has one syllable and it doesn't end on any of the other 3 rules, so not NK, not F, not U, E or U, or not G, then it just stays the same. That's our rule 4. And very important, if no other rules apply, like I say there. So for example, sterk, it doesn't end in any of the ones we've just discussed, then it just remains sterk in the attributive. So you have to leeuwe sterk, that is a sterk leeuw. So nothing changes. Rule 5, if our byvoeglike naamwoord is a color, it remains the same, right? So if you say, oh, die sneeuw is wit, as your predicative, you would say die wit sneeuw, for example. It doesn't change. The colors does not change. And that is it, guys. I hope it makes a bit more sense. These are the 5 rules, how you change predicative to attributive. And yeah, I hope you guys feel okay now after listening to this. See ya.